Hi, welcome to my lab. It's springtime! Spring is my favorite season of the year and I can't wait to prepare spring-themed doll, and this time post her in proper season. Recently I did my autumn girl, which turned out better than I thought. I put her in set with one of my older repaint, Pastel Girl Sally, but they don't fit together anymore, so let's make her spring makeover. I made her from Mousedes King and back then I was pretty pleased with her, but she didn't age that well. So let's undress her and prepare for repaint. Yeah, her shoes are turning into dust. Don't buy Crayola air dry clay, it is piece of garbage. I glued her hair with hot glue so it is possible to tear them from the vinyl scalp. When she was bald, I took nail polish remover with acetone and cleared her old face. My Murine spa specialist don't want to deal with acrylic paints, so I had to do this on my own. And I struggled a lot. But finally, I can call her clean. My next step was outfit. I was thinking of cottagecore dress for her, but to be really honest, I don't feel very well this style. When I was looking for the references, I found this one which I very liked and I decided to recreate it. I started from shirt. I reused shirt pattern which I created for my Mega Divus collab entry, but I widened the end of the sleeves. After sewing darts on the chest, I sewed the front, mimicking bottom-down closure. This is just for look. The real closure will be on the back, like usually for doll clothing. Next, I added cuffs and gathered the sleeves. I am going for dropping sleeves look, so I ironed cuffs inside and sewed them to the base of the shirt, and then I just close it on the sides. Then I adjusted fit and added velcro to the back. It should be white, but I have got only black one. The fit was too tight, especially on upper arms, so I corrected my pattern off camera and prepared new shirt, following the same steps. There is still a problem in neck area where velcro creates a hunchback. Let's finish for now with shirt and move to the skirt. I just prepared belt part and quarter circle skirt part, which I sewed to the shirt. I messed up with darts, which should be on the side, so to save the situation I ironed them and pretend that this is exactly what I wanted. My secret weapon! I still wanted to have some cottagecore-esque vibes on this outfit, so I embroidered on skirt some flowers with pink thread. I was using regular thread, not embroidery one, because in this scale it would be too bulky. And I got this. Off camera I also added collar, which I pressed with iron to force it to lie flat. I also gently ironed embroidered flowers on skirt. For the last detail, I used pink thread to make her a neck bow, and the dress is done! Spring is still quite cold season, so to keep my spring girl warm, I prepared her socks by sewing them directly on her legs. I messed up with stitching on one of them, but it will be covered with dress, so I don't care that much. Doll which I picked up have got modified feet, so I must prepare her custom shoes. I protected her legs with tape and I made her shoes with Worbla thermoplastic, which I heated with my heat gun to be able to work with. I started from sole and then I added body of the shoe. When Worbla cooled down and become hard plastic again, I trimmed shoes with scissors and that's it. This is third time when I was trying to make Worbla shoes and finally it looks cute. Then I just painted it to make it fit to the dress. One side of Worbla has got texture which after painting kinda looks like leather, so it is great for shoes. With this, outfit is complete. Back to her body. First, this doll has got broken neckbag, I forgot about it, again, and it is stuck in her head. To get to it, I cut open her head in the back and later fixed the cut with super glue. Next, I cleaned her neck with my rotary tool. I used tons of acetone for cleaning her old face, which leaked to her body and melted it. Yes, I've proven that acetone really melts the plastic. Now you don't need to try it on your own. To secure the neckbag, I drilled the hole in her neck and put wire there, which will keep the neckbag in place. I recommended to use sturdy armature wire for this, not this soft one, because it later came off. Anyway, I put her head back and fixed the cut with super glue. Off camera, I gave her white base coat and sprayed her with light beige color using my airbrush. Recently, I bought airbrush paints to try them out, and my overall feelings are positive. They are way more opaque and it took me only 3 coats of white to fully cover her dark grey skin instead of 10 layers before when I was diluting acrylic paints. However, they are still too thick for my airbrush and I should dilute them. Here I didn't know that and I was struggling a lot during shading. And by the way, sanding the doll is always good standard before airbrushing. I wish I thought about it earlier. I wasn't happy with the result, plus paint which I mixed was too great, so I prepared new mix, diluted it with water and sprayed her once more. However, when I was shading, I realized that this time I diluted paint too much and I got this. I have no idea how to fix it, so I decided to go with it and do the same thing with second eye, and later figured out what to do. I tried to correct it by making these splotches more controllable, but I still have no clue how to deal with it. I could give her very graphic makeup which will use these lines, but it will not match dress which I already prepared and concept which I had for this doll. I wasn't prepared for such huge changes, so the best option for me was to start her face again. I didn't want to fight once more with scrapping paint from the vinyl with acetone, so I decided to exchange her head with this one. I got it from Amazon in set of 10 to practice face-ups off camera. It is smaller than Monster High head and has got different features like bigger nose and smaller lips. Also Ace has got totally different shape, but let's try. Luckily skin color matches, so I can move straight to the repaint. I had 3 attempts to this face-up. First was abandoned after first contouring because of how terrible it was. During the second try, I had wrong camera angle and most of the shots are my big head. Overall, it was okay, but I thought that I can do this better, so I tried for third time. As usual, I started with contouring and blushing with pink tones. I also gave her dark pink eyeshadow. After building it on few layers, I sketched her features with Arteza watercolor pencils. I was trying to go a little against mold because I am not used to this type of sculpt, especially when it comes to eyes. Outer corners of the eyes in Monster High heads are placed upper than inner, while in this Amazon head they are at similar angles. It makes a huge difference for me since I am usually following Monster High mold. Next, I moved to the acrylic paints, starting from filling her scleras with 2 layers of white paint. Then I highlighted her eyes with light beige paint and shaded her eyeballs with grey. Shading eyes really makes huge difference and gives eyes more dimension. For nice gradient, I am blending grey by mixing it with white while still wet. I decided to give her deep blue eyes the same like I gave this doll in her previous life. I liked them, and since her dress is all pink, I needed some pop of color. This time I gave her black pupils. If you are with me for a while, you know that I don't like use black, but this time her eyes are so dark that I had no choice but to use this black. Next, I moved to her makeup. I started with white lines, then I add light pink one. I finished her eyes with black lash line and lower eyelashes. As a last moment decision, I decided to give her light brown freckles, which I just splattered on her face with paintbrush. There was some dirt on her nose and I just wanted to cover it. And here is how she looks next to attempt number 2. I like new one a lot. Concept is the same, but execution is way better in my latest try. I sealed paint job with matte varnish and here is how she looks on the body. Head is little too loose on the neck pack, but I'll fix it after doing her hair. For her hair, I took this yarn which I cut into pieces, brushed and blended by hand. Then I glued fibers directly to her head using Mod Podge, starting from the forehead and then back of her head. Off camera, I added rest of the wefts and let glue dry overnight. To create a part, I glued her in opposite direction and flipped it back. When glue fully cured, I styled her hair by making her simple low braid. To fix her hair, I used jewelry wire since it holds doll hair better than rubber bands. As a last touch, I glued to her hair some flower nail art decoration. Almost done! Now I just add gloss to her eyes and lips and glue her false lashes. But before that, let's quickly take care of her loose neck. To do it, I cover her neck in few layers of masking tape and cut the access. Not the most elegant solution, but it works. And now she's ready for the final assembly. Meet my spring gear! Unfortunately, I didn't finish her when spring was in its full blooming glory, so I cannot do her pictures in flowers, but I think that she still looks great at the end. But you know, everything pink has got special spot in my heart. I made her few pictures with my autumn girl and something is telling me that they are more than best friends. What do you think about her? Maybe there is something what you like to see me doing. Let me know in the comments. See you next time. Bye!